Lark Taylor, and we are here at Grandma Tobler's Bakery in St. George, Utah. I am the owner and operator of Grandma Tobler's Bakery, and today we're going to be teaching you how to make pumpkin cake rolls. Okay, for the pumpkin cake rolls, you will need 3 eggs. I only have 1 egg on hand today, so we'll be using liquid eggs and a real egg, and it will work out just the same with liquid eggs or real eggs. You also then will need 1 cup of sugar, 2/3 a cup of pumpkin, a teaspoon of lemon juice, 3/4 of a cup of flour, 2 teaspoons cinnamon, a teaspoon baking soda, a teaspoon ginger, half a teaspoon salt, and a half a teaspoon nutmeg. And those are the ingredients you'll need just to make the cake roll. What we'll do is, first off, you're going to add the eggs, and you want to make sure you have a nice machine that will whip really good, because you're going to want to whip the eggs until they're really frothy. So we'll turn it on, and I got to close the gate. It doesn't work. And we just want to whip it till those eggs get really frothy. And realize you're here in Grandma Tobler's Bakery with our oven on that's really loud, our fridges are really loud, and of course this mixer's loud. But we're just going to whip the eggs for just a few minutes until they get whipped. If you don't have a big mixer like this, you can use a hand mixer at home, and it'll work out just fine. Just use your hand mixer and whip it until your eggs start getting frothy. Kind of like you're making a meringue. If you've made meringue before, you know how that works. You just whip it until they start looking airy. And then we're going to gradually add the sugar to it. I want you to notice we've whipped this for approximately 5 minutes, and now the eggs are starting to look nice and frothy. So what we're going to do is gradually add the sugar, just like as if you were making a meringue. You just want to add the sugar a little bit at a time to keep those eggs fluffy. And just keep adding it. Again, this is 1 cup of sugar added to 3 eggs. And as you can see, it's nice and fluffy. All right, now we're going to turn the mixer down to just 1, and we're going to add in the 2/3 cups pumpkin. And you're still going to use the wire whip. It works great. And your lemon juice. And the lemon juice kind of helps to perk those eggs up and keep them fluffy while you're making your cake roll. So we'll just mix that in slowly. And while that's mixing in, what we're going to do in the 3/4 cups flour, we're going to mix in the 2 teaspoons cinnamon, the 1 teaspoon of baking soda, the 1 teaspoon of ginger, the half a teaspoon of salt, and the half a teaspoon of nutmeg. And then we're just going to mix that all together. Just all the dry ingredients are now mixed together. And we will now pour that in with the pumpkin and the lemon juice. Gotta get that off the top there. So, all right. We'll mix that for a minute on 1. And then we'll mix it up on 2. Just till it's all blended. Now you can see how it looks, and of course we'll want to scrape down the sides and make sure everything is in there. Get it all mixed in. And this will do 1 jelly roll pan. What we do here in the bakery is to line it with parchment, just like that. Put a parchment paper on, and that way you can roll your item up real easy. And then if you have a pan spray, like Pam or anything like that, just spray the paper. Now realize that this is going to be a very thin batter on here because it is going to be a jelly roll. So we're just going to put the batter on. See how light that is with considering how few ingredients are in there? It's just a light batter. And the most important thing is to try and get this as level as you can when you spread it on your paper, because that will determine your thickness of your jelly roll. Just spread it out. Make sure you get all the way to the corners. It looks very thin, but it's going to turn out perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put it in the oven. Now at your home, you'll want to have your oven at 375 degrees. But because the bakery oven is bigger and hotter, we're only going to bake it at 350 degrees. You'll only bake it for 15 minutes. So let me put it in the oven here. And this is a little bit bigger than your oven at home. And not quite as big as a process, but this is how it works at Grandma's. The rack slides right into that hydraulic lift. And then that hydraulic lift will lift the rack up and rotate it around so that it bakes in a perfect convection oven. So we'll set the timer for 15 minutes and we'll wait for the finished product. As you can see, it baked up beautifully, pulled away from the edges just like it's supposed to. Remember, you put the paper on there and sprayed the paper. This is the hardest part of the pumpkin cake roll in my mind, because this is hot. And you have to roll it while it's hot or it's not going to turn out. So you might want to let it cool for maybe 5 minutes, but no more than 5 minutes or it won't work. So you've got to make sure you roll it while it's hot. So what you're going to do is take a scraper or a knife or whatever you have on hand. Just make sure it's all loosened up from the edges. And then I just pick it up here and just roll it. And believe me, it's hot, so you just got to roll it fast and roll it up. And then you're just going to let it cool. After your cake roll has cooled and you're ready to ice it, you can unroll it and ice it. And because of time, I'm not going to show you how to make the icing, but I will tell you how simple it is. You just take 1 pound of powdered sugar, 3 ounces of cream cheese, and 1 cube of butter, and you just whip it until it looks fluffy like this. Makes it easy and easy to do at home. Then what you're going to do is after your cake roll has cooled completely, you're going to carefully unroll it. And don't worry, sometimes they crack. If they crack, it's just fine. Just realize that it's just going to taste good anyway, even if it's cracked. And then you're just going to take your frosting and spread it on. Kind of leave this end so that it can attach. Don't put frosting up to within an inch so that you can attach it to the other bread. And believe me, you don't want to add too much because it's going to be a lot once you get it rolling up here. Then you're just going to roll it, and I just kind of pick the paper up with it and keep rolling it until it's all rolled together. And when I'm going to store it, I just roll it in the paper and stick it in a plastic bag and put it in the freezer. Okay, after you've pulled it out of the freezer and you want to serve it, just pull it out about a half hour before you want to serve it. Let it thaw a little bit, and then just cut it. You're just going to cut it, and it's ready to serve. And you have a beautiful pumpkin cake roll ready for the holidays to serve any guest when they show up.